Hi, and welcome to Danny After Dark. If you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss a notification or a new episode. Tonight is the weekly True Crime and Chill. We are doing it a day earlier than we typically do, just due to some scheduling. Because, y'all, I mentioned December is crazy busy, like crazy busy. But there's so much to talk about. So I'm like, all right, we're doing it a day early because we just got to get this stuff in. Beckham will not be joining tonight. He has something watching. I think it's called sports. There's something football related. That's all I know. So he will not be here tonight. So we'll just be us. And yeah, it's just going to be a super chill episode. There is a lot that happened this week. So we do have quite a bit to talk about. And we'll just kind of go from there. If y'all, let's see. If you missed earlier this week, my interview with Tiff Klein, definitely go check that out. It was so much fun having her on. Like, y'all, subscribe to her podcast, follow her on Instagram. She's amazing, like absolutely amazing. You're going to love her podcast and you're going to love her posts. Like I said, she reads so much. It's like, I just feel like we're like kindred spirits. Like my soul just like connects with hers on the, on the book loving level. I'm like, yes, somebody who gets it. So make sure to go back and watch that if you missed it. I did do a post for part 2 of JC Bring Cutting to the Truth. So Anthony D. Maria and Marshall Terrell and Paul from the Paulcast will be back next week. So that will be next Friday evening. It's trying to coordinate 4 people's schedule in general is just always, can be challenging. But during December, I'm so excited that we got this to work for as quickly as we did. So definitely tune in for that. And if you missed part 1, go back and check that out because we're going to be kind of going in order of the book and kind of touching on things that we didn't get to touch upon. I know a lot of what people want to hear about is, I think anybody who has an interest in maybe the Manson case and maybe doesn't know a lot about it, everybody kind of goes to the murders right away, right? But we've already discussed the background of Jay, which is super important to learn who he was. But I think people who maybe are just like, well, all I know is like the murders and after. We're going to be not only touching upon that, but going over a lot of inaccuracies that have been said for the last 50 years and setting the record straight. So I'm really looking forward to that. So make sure to tune into that. Again, that will be next Friday. Let's see, what else am I missing? The Liz could not be here tonight. She's my official Brian Walsh trial correspondent, my news correspondent. But she made sure to do all of the notes for that part for tonight. So shout out to my girl, Liz. If you are not following her on Instagram, the Liz Files, go follow. She is so good at social media with posting in regards to like updates with stuff. I just kind of like, I'm like, all right, quick 1 sentence thing and share. She gives like detailed like posts and she's so good at it. So good. So definitely go follow her on Instagram. And especially if you are into the Brian Walsh trial and want to see what's unfolding, go follow her. Go follow her for all of the info. But other than that, I do expect her. Yes, Liz, I do expect you every week to be on, and for you guys too, for her to update you guys on the Brian Walsh trial. And me and your girl Liz may or may not be planning a trip down to Dedham Courthouse to maybe be a little more interactive. So yeah, stay tuned. Stay tuned. Let's see. Shout out to Wolf, by the way. Wolf, I do see you in the chat. I will get to everybody. When Tiff Klein was on, Wolf was in the chat, like, I mean, hustling for me. Thank you so much. Like, I could see, like, he was just like, you know, Danny After Dark on Cameo, Danny After Dark merch. Like, you were just, thank you. I noticed it. It's appreciated. But to go off of that, yes, it is the holiday season. And what better gift than to give your loved one or yourself than some Danny After Dark merch? Link is in the drop-down bar below. Cameo, if you would like to gift somebody a personalized video from me or gift yourself a personalized video, link is down below. So I just feel like I just kind of have to say that since it's like the holiday season. It's like, why the heck not? And I say that, and of course, is the one night that I actually am just still like drinking my Stanley here. Yeah, so shout out to Stanley too. So yeah, but the Danny After Dark tumblers, way cooler. I was running late and I just had to quickly grab what I could. So this is what we're working with tonight. Other than that, cats. I do have 2 cats in the room tonight. I have Loki and Leia. So Loki's usually a bit more interactive, but we'll see. We'll see. And then, yeah, because I love y'all and we're animal people and I share. So my cat Cosmo, he is, I want to say 13. Did he just turn 13? It's either 12 or 13. I forget, but I want to say 13. So for anybody who has older cats, what I've been noticing with him, today was a vet day. He has been like all of a sudden, like the past month, like eating a ton more and like almost like crying for food. As you know how cats will do this, like, oh my God, I haven't been fed in 20 years. But it's like, dude, you just ate like 2 minutes ago. Calm down. Like he's crying like that, but not in a way where he's trying to deceive. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. And weighing him, he's lost 2 pounds since June, which, you know, he was already 10 pounds. So now he was like down to 8. And I'm like, oh shit, that's not good. So brought him to the vet, blood panel, you know, all that fun stuff. And everything turned out normal. So the vet suggested kind of more in-depth testing, ultrasound. So it's like, all right, pull the trigger and do that. So that was today. And y'all, like I knew that stuff is expensive. But so worth it because they're your babies, right? But yeah, they noticed, you know, a bunch of inflammation and they ordered a little bit more blood work to kind of look for some specific things. They do not think it's anything like cancer, but they just want to rule that out like 100%. So still a little bit more follow-up testing, but yeah, that was today with my Cosmo. Oh my gosh. You know, when it's your babies and they don't like to go to the vet on a good day, let alone go to the emergency vet and kind of get, you know, all that expensive equipment and like all those testing. And they had to shave his belly to do the ultrasound. And I'm like, not happy when he got home. Not happy. He was pissed, rightfully so. He was pissed, but some treats and some churros and everything's back in order. But the vets did say how much of a love bug he was. Like he just like wanted to be held and cuddled. I'm like, that's my baby. That is my Cosmo. So yeah, keep Cosmo in your thoughts. And again, hopefully we're ruling out anything bad. And, you know, he's getting older. So it could be just very simple things like switching diet and whatnot, which would be like the best case scenario. But yeah, other than that, that has been, you know, what's been going on. So, all right. I know I'm way behind on greeting everybody in the chat. We're like 11 minutes. My apologies. So let me get to that now. Tony Stewart, first in the chat. How you doing, hun? Sam Smith. Yeah, we got Loki. Hey, Kane. Hi, Richard. Good to see you. Renee. Let's see. Well, let's just leave that there. Hey, Wolf. Amy's positive path. Okay. There needs to be a wrench given, and we're going to do that right now. Standard marker. There you go. So the wrench, again, for anybody who is unfamiliar, it just gives you the ability to, a lot of times if we're talking about something in the chat and someone is like, oh, I have a link to this. Without a wrench, you can't post links. So now that you have a wrench, you can do that. Also, sometimes a lot of you guys will be having, chats on the side in the chat and just like going about whatever you guys want to talk about, which is totally awesome. And I totally support that. Do it. Love it. And sometimes you guys need to reference something with a link. Again, the wrench gives you that ability to do that. So my husband had just finished federal jury. Oh, a dude that lost the custody case trying to kill. Well, because that's a smart idea. Well, very interesting. Yeah, always a bad, not so smart. Hi, Karen Diamond. Good to see you. Renee, I just got called for jury duty in January 2026. Oh, Kane, keep us posted. Obviously, like if you get picked, we don't want details. Well, we do, but we really can't. So just be like, yeah, I got selected. That's all I can say. Type of thing. I don't know if they are. I just thought it was cute. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. This guy was an idiot and acted as his, Renee, acting as own attorney. That I will give that as a hint of one of the things we'll be talking about tonight that I wish we weren't talking about. And I will just say, after work tonight, I went to the gym and I'm doing my thing and I get a notification on my phone. And a name that I hoped that we would not talk about in a very, very long time back in the news. So I'm like, all right, we need to add this to the docket for tonight because there's no way we can't not talk about it. Hint, acting as own attorney. Stay tuned. I will get a cameo from you for someone. Wolf! All I have to say is, if it's a cameo for Beckham, one has already been done when I had to be nice to him. And that was painful. That was so painful. I did it. I think that's where like acting skills come in, but it was so painful. It was just like, be nice, encourage. And I was like, I gotta be nice to Beckham. Wait, what? I don't think I know how, but I did it and survived. Berate the judge for informing the jury of their right to judge. Yeah, I mean, there's a million things. We're not trying to teach people how to. I don't want someone to be like, I learned this tip on Danny After Dark as to how to get out of jury duty. So Sam Smith. Beckham should do a pajama line of clothing. Ugh. Only if you buy it and sell it out will I put that on my merch store. Other than that, no, not happening. Oh, Sam Smith, you are definitely on some type of list. I mean, you're probably on several lists. Thank you, Wolf. Thank you. In Massachusetts, they are, for Christ's sakes. Just turn on the news. I hope that your cat will be. Yeah, me too. I mean, on the one hand, I was like, okay, nothing was like glaringly like, oh my God. So like on the one hand, I'm like, all right, we still have to wait. Yeah, like Cosmo knows he's waiting for results. So I still have to wait a few more days for like some of the additional lab testing to come back. The vet seemed pretty positive. So we'll see. But yeah, I was kind of looking like going into today. I was like, oh, like he's getting older. I get that. Like, oh, could this be the day where like we walk away like Again, like Cosmo knows he's walking away from that with like bad news. But yeah. Cosmo was okay, so a little side note. So I grew up with dogs. Disliked cats very much. My OG friends will say, you know, Danny, well, they call Danielle, did not like cats at all. Nope. You know, you grow up, you're like, oh, should I get a dog on my own? Well, dogs are a lot of work. They have to go every 2 hours. And it's like, you know, when commuting for work, it's just like, oh, not always possible. Doggy daycare. Well, that's the cost of a mortgage payment practically. So like, there goes that. The Liz was like, well, have you considered a cat? I'm like, no, I don't like cats. Don't like them. And she was, you know, she volunteered at the time too. We did a whole show on volunteering. Go back and check that out if you missed it. We did it live from the Cat Cafe here. And she's like, just come, you know. I was like, all right. And she was there that day volunteering. And I saw Cosmo. And I'm like, that's my soulmate cat. That is my soulmate cat. Adopted him and his brother, Tuka. And now I'm six cats later of my own, and started volunteering there soon after. And it's like the best thing ever. And I have a ton of tattoos, but a bunch of them, cat ones. I think you guys mostly kind of see that one. Ooh, see, yeah. But yeah, now I'm like the cat lady, which is just so funny because like people that knew me, they're just like, oh yeah, no, you hated cats. And now I'm just like, my life is not fulfilled without one or two or three or so on. So yeah, I hope he's okay too. Oh, I know. You see those like memes and like stuff on Instagram where it's just like, you could have bought like an expensive designer bag, but instead you took your cat to the emergency vet because they swallowed like something, and that was like $3,000 bill or something like that. I'm not doing it justice, but y'all, I know you've seen those things on Instagram where it's just like, oh, come on. But it could be something that simple. It could very much be something that simple, which would be the best case scenario. Oh, thank you, Karen Diamond. You are so sweet. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you, Tony Stewart. Thank you. I know, because I couldn't do it tomorrow. Speaking of, the Liz who was too good to be on tonight, Danny After Dark, the new product suggestion mojo. Hey, Liz. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't even get a chance to tell Liz. Oh my gosh. I message that girl every damn day. Did not get a chance to tell her about Cosmo with the vet stuff. So Liz, if you listened, my apologies. If you missed it, I will message you tomorrow. I'll fill you in. Sounds about accurate. I don't recall, but sounds about accurate. Really? How much you got, Tony Stewart? We were supposed to get a storm on Tuesday and it blew over. It was like light flakes when I was driving home from work tonight. But nothing, it didn't stick or anything. But yeah, I've seen some, depending on where people live, posts. I'm just like, oh, but I know it's coming. Because Massachusetts. You didn't get much snow in Salisbury. Okay. All right. Amy's Positive Pathways. While you are here. Let me pull it up. And then this goes for everybody, but specifically Amy Positive Pathways. If you are not already Amy, following Crime Story Fest on Instagram, check it out. There's more details coming, but I'll read it. So in case anybody, if you go on the Instagram page, you can't really see it. Anyway, it's Crime Story, crime, and then STERY Fest, an all things crime and mystery festival featuring your favorite crime-related podcasters, authors, educators, and experts. Boston, October 2026. Stay tuned. So follow the page for more info. And I'll leave it at that. But I can't wait to talk about it. Let's see. Sam Smith, I just want to time you out just for that. Thank you, Karen Diamond. Thank you. My husband is a cat whisperer. Well, that's amazing. We have 4 cats, 1 dog. I feel like we had that conversation when I met you. I feel like we had the cat conversation because that's like one of the like things where I'm just like, do you have any pets? What type of pets do you have? I'm just like so nosy with that stuff. But I feel like I remember you saying that. I feel like I do. Mick Murphy, 1975. Hello, Catus. Yeah. Yep. I was going to say what's going on. Yeah, Liz. Yes, Cosmo went to the vet. We were thinking it was a thyroid thing, but the lab work from like the normal vet said everything was fine. And yeah, that blood work came back normal. So wanted to do an ultrasound to see if it was anything else. But I'll fill you in more. We'll message. Liz will message. Yeah, Amy, make sure to follow it. Make sure to follow it for sure. Oh, 5 inches of snow. That sucks. That sucks, man. All right. So we got a lot to talk about tonight. We're over 20 minutes in. So let's kind of plan to get into it. Okay. So last time we talked, Morgan Geyser from the Slender Man attempted murder, I should say, had escaped and was caught. So the little bit of information that has come out now, because I know one of the things that I was talking about with Beckham last show was in getting you guys' thoughts too, like she got, in my opinion, very lucky to be released and was put into a group home and had to wear an ankle monitoring bracelet. And she just got, that just happened earlier this year. And to basically plan this getaway, is the community at risk? And should she go back to the group home with a slap on the wrist? What will the judge say? Go back to the previous mental facility that she was in, or go to jail? It's kind of like what could happen, right? So what we've learned is that the Waukesha County Judge Scott Wagner right now is holding Morgan Geyser in jail. So Tony Cotton, who is her attorney, who actually Sunday, so she escaped on a Saturday. Sunday, he made a statement to turn yourself in. We worked too hard to get you to this point for this, made that public statement right before she was caught. So again, Tony Cotton, her attorney, is arguing to the judge that it's improper to hold Morgan in jail because she doesn't face any new criminal charges in the county. I get it. I get the defense attorney. This is their job. I get that. But I'm just like, So Morgan, again, was arrested in Posen, Illinois. So she was arrested in another state after cutting off her ankle monitoring bracelet and escaping from her group home with, at the time, it was an unidentified male. We have since learned quite a bit about him. I don't really feel the need to focus on him, more so it should be on her. And to be honest with that as well, I would like, in regards to the focus on him, I want more of their relationship with each other and what he has to gain from this. And I'm really not finding that right now. So if anybody else has found it, by all means, send it my way. But I haven't really found that. So I'm like, right now, it's just, I want to know, what is y'all's involvement? How did you guys meet? How did it get to that? But we'll see. I'm a cat. Hello, long time no see. One cat, one dog, my address would be surgeon. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, that's so sad. I know, Wolf. I know. I don't want to give you my name. Google me. Really? I know. So Yeah, so her attorney is asking that Morgan be moved back to the Winnebago mental health facility where she was treated before her release. I do prefer that over her just getting a slap on the wrist and going to the group home. Have not heard anything yet. I've been trying to keep an eye on it. Have not seen where a decision has been made yet. But I don't feel, I mean, that community, I feel so bad for that community having to deal with that. And especially for Peyton, who survived this attack. Like, oh my gosh, her and her family having to, like, on the one hand, knowing like, okay, Anissa Ware is out. And now Morgan is out, and then she escapes it. Like, I can't even imagine what the family's going through with that. But on the one hand, yes, she has been found and she's being held. You know, we'll see what happens with what decision the judge makes. And I'm very curious because I feel like there's an argument for kind of each side. I know what I personally kind of feel, but that at the end of the day, that means nothing. Who the hell am I in this, you know? But we will see, and I will keep you guys posted. He was selling her writings about all kinds of death stuff. They met at church. Lovely. Lovely. She's not a kid anymore. 100%. 100%. And to me, that kind of makes it scarier. It really makes it scarier. So, yeah. Why when I put on a live and have headphones on is that when he starts bugging me. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like, oh my, you know how animals are like, oh my gosh, you haven't paid me attention all day, when it's like, dude, we just hung out for like 5 hours straight. Like, yeah. So anyway, I will keep y'all posted on the Morgan Geyser update. Moving on. Oh, my husband. I can't help you with that. I can't help you with that. Yeah, I got nothing. My condolences, Amy. So, no difference. I thought that, and I was just like, do I say that? Should I say that? Thank you. That's yeah. Oh, God. Luigi Mangione. To be perfectly honest, before I saw the headline with like the brief little update that there was, it was what I saw of the pictures from him from court this past week of like so many women on Instagram. Like, oh my God, like the fawning over him. It was disgusting. So I see that and I'm just like, oh, looks like he was in court. And that is horrible that like that shows up in my, feed before like the actual, court hearing. But nonetheless, that's where we are as a society right now, for better, for worse, right? So not a ton of updates regarding Luigi Mangione, except he returned to court this week for this, what was the second day of a pretrial hearing in his New York State murder cases, right? So his attorneys are seeking to block prosecutors from using evidence that they collected at his arrest at that McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Specifically, they are arguing that officers failed to read him his Miranda rights and conducted a warrantless search of his backpack. I get it. Again, defense attorney, like this is their job, to nitpick everything to get as much evidence tossed out as they can, especially in a case like this, right? So as a quick reminder, if people are wondering kind of what that evidence was, so among the items that law enforcement seized was a 3D printed handgun, a silencer, a notebook with handwritten entries that prosecutors called a manifesto. In an official court filings, Luigi's lawyers argue that all of the items recovered from the backpack, again, that it should not be admissible in trial because the police searched it without a warrant. to go off of that, they're saying that there was no immediate threat to justify the search. Let me repeat that. They are saying that searching his backpack without a warrant, there was no immediate threat to justify such a search. So the defense is also asking the judge to suppress any statements that he made to law enforcement in Altoona, Pennsylvania before his extradition to New York. So this pretrial hearing could take up to a week or more. Prosecutors have called 6 witnesses during this hearing. So we are getting to learn, I would say, a fair amount of information from this. So if this is something where this case interests you for whatever reason, definitely, like, y'all, don't sleep on pretrial hearings. I never really, in full honesty, paid much attention to them. I think before, probably in the last several years, like 3-4 years, because to me, it's just like, I didn't understand the importance of it. Now, oh my gosh, like, I hate to say more important than the actual trial, but is huge, especially in determining what is admissible and what is not. Which is so important, because we hear about this so much, right? Where we kind of, as the community and the public, we're seeing things that maybe, and hearing about things that the jury is not being allowed to see, right? So, the jury at the end of a trial makes their decision, and we're here as a community outraged, like, why, wait a minute, what about this? What about this? But due to pretrial hearings, that information or evidence is not allowed in. So the jury can't factor that into their choice, or decision, I should say. And they not even be aware that it's so important. So y'all, definitely don't sleep on pretrial hearings. They're so important. But in a case like this, I think a lot of us think we might kind of be like, all right, we know what's going to be where this trial is going, but you never know. You never know. So I find this super interesting to kind of watch this, especially for this case. Personally, I find it very interesting. Not the part of, like, all the ladies losing their minds over him, which it's like, yo, what are you doing? What are you doing? Anyway, so the judge has yet to rule on what evidence will be admissible at trial. So stay tuned. I will be updating this for you guys, and we will definitely be talking about it. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about. With this. And I think especially too, where people are like, the divide on that, what he did was just justified, or maybe not agreed with, but understood there's a lot of feelings with this. Like this, there's a lot of feelings in this type of case. So that's also kind of like another layer to it. There's just so many layers with this. So he is so arrogant. Oh my gosh, Renee, like 100%. It's wild. And he knows it. Like, he played up to that camera the second he got in front of it. And it's been the same ever since. Send him to max security. Guilty as sin. Tony Stewart. Just the guy that got shot. I think I'm missing what context that is in. Are you going to be talking about the bat? Renee, as much as like I actually considered talking about that, for a split second, I was like, I think there's more in the world right now than bad bananas in Brian Kohberger. All right, we talked about it. There's the update. Done. Just like, God. Some women dream about him. Probably some guys do. Oh my God, 100% on both, I'm sure. And I just like Renee said, the arrogance. Like, separating, like in a world if somebody did not know what he did and just saw his photo or saw him interact with the camera, maybe volume off so you don't know what is being discussed. It's just, again, arrogance. Like, I can't, Renee, that's just a spot on word. I can't stand him for that. And especially being arrogant in the context that we're in. It really pisses me off. Oh my God, 100%, K-Dog, 100%. Amy says, I'm so embedded in the Massachusetts stuff lately. It's really crazy. What, Amy, you mean like the one thing, the two, the 20 corrupt things that are happening in our state right now? Like, there's so much. Amy, there's so much. Make it stop. Like, make it stop. I would love an episode where I'm like, we're not talking anything Massachusetts tonight because everything's going great. No. Nope. Unfortunately, I can't argue that. I know, Amy, it's just like, oh, make it make sense. Make it make sense. Little bit of math stuff. I guess I'll throw this in here. Better now than. So for those of you, again, the Karen Reed information. I think we briefly talked about it before. So the McCabe's, the Alberts, Brian Higgins, again, they started I'm blanking the name of the website, y'all, but it's like equivalent to a GoFundMe where it's like donate to our cause. Because again, they are being, deemed as, the killers of, Officer John O'Keefe and facing, legal. Let's say, like, okay, with that, and like, I paused because I'm like, are we ever going to find out what happened to Officer John O'Keefe? Never. We'll never know. But there's a lot of stuff being tied up in the courts, with Karen Reed suing them all individually and whatnot. So they're trying to raise funds. Well, in addition to that, they now have a team with a YouTube channel. And it's like, learn the truth. And it's like, oh my God, no. I don't encourage anybody to go over to that YouTube channel and check it out. Like, my gosh. But then again, there are a large amount of people that, feel differently about the case than I do. And okay, to each their own, I suppose. But it's just like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Amy's saying, is it a Give, Send, Go? Is that it? I don't remember the name. It's like the equivalent of like a GoFundMe, but that could be it. I don't remember offhand. But it's just like, what the heck? Like, read the room. But last I saw, what was it that they raised? What was it? 75? Was it 75,000 or 750? No, I want to say it's 75,000 through that. And I was like, what the heck? Like, who is donating to them? Wild. Hey, Fiddle. Good to see. I actually almost messaged you, Fiddle, and been like, hey, do you want to join me tonight? But I know you are super busy being a true embodiment of what a Canadian man should be versus Paul. But yeah, I actually did think of messaging you. So if you're around and you're like, yeah, hell, I'll come up, let me know and I'll send you a link. But other than that, I hope you're doing well, hun. That corruption is a tempting devil many can't resist. K-Dog. Apparently a lot in Massachusetts, a lot of people cannot resist who have power here, and that's really sad. It's crazy to see the recorded interviews, etc. with Amy. Right. Yeah. I don't know what that, I think I missed your previous statement or comment in what that was in reference for, but I'm good. Yeah. So I'll keep you guys posted on it. But again, please don't go check out that channel. And I'm not the type to like ever bash another creator. Like, y'all know me. I am not that person. if there's a book that I read and I don't like it, I'm not going to come on here and bash it. I just won't review it. Like, I'm on the side if someone's like, hey, would you recommend this book? I'd be like, oh, hey, no, and here's why. But I'm not going to go on air and it's like, that's not cool, With that being said, please don't go follow, watch, and all those things. That channel for the Alberts and the McCabe's and Higgins. Please don't. Just please don't. And please don't donate. That's, if I have to ask anything, like in that regards, like just don't. Yes, he is. That's why he's not around tonight, because something with sports. Yeah. I could never watch it. However, I would watch someone else. I will say the Glare is doing and he's actually live right now doing because he's very like, no one go watch it over there. We don't want the negativity there. Watch it through my platform instead, like real cheeky about it. So the Glare is actually going to be streaming it and of course reacts to it like so hilariously. So I'm going to rewatch that later tonight / like tomorrow, his watching of it, and more so to see his reactions to it. The Glare is amazing. If y'all aren't following the Glare, like definitely make sure to do that. He's just so good. I mean, watch someone else commenting on. Then yeah, Amy, the Glare. Absolutely. All right. So there's a couple of things that I have on my phone that I actually could not even get on the Google Doc because it just happened so quickly. So where do we begin? All right. So brief update in regards to, we've talked about before the death of actor Matthew Perry in regard to Dr. Placencia. And I know I'm probably butchering his last name, but that's as close as I can get it. So he had pled guilty in regards to a lot of his charges, and I'll get to that in a minute, but also kind of knowingly forfeited his license. I mean, the writing was on the wall, but what happened this week? Awesome. Is that Dr. Placencia received, so he was sentenced to 30 months in federal prison. So he was one of 5 people charged in a multi-year federal investigation that was really looking at how actor Matthew Perry acquired the ketamine in all of these drugs. And as we know, in 2023, Matthew Perry, at the age of 54, was found deceased, and it was ruled a fentanyl overdose. So Dr. Placencia did address the court and Matthew Perry's family, and he expressed regret and remorse. And so his family was there. Dr. Placencia's, he said how he has a 2-year-old son and how he wants to raise him right, and also thinks, quote, I also think about how to explain this to him, end quote. Like, go fuck yourself. Seriously, go fuck yourself. You knew good and damn well what you were doing. In the messages that you were sending about how much of a moron and an idiot that you felt Matthew Perry was. You're sorry you got caught. You're sorry you got caught because Matthew Perry died, and that's why you got caught. But like, I don't like that shit. I really don't. It's just like, you didn't feel bad when you were giving him and prescribing that medication. Like, really? Little late. But his mother was also, so Dr. Placencia's mother was also in the courtroom, and she was crying. I get that. That's her son. At the end of the day, like, you're going to have your child's back. I get her tears. I get that. But him, yeah, I have no sympathy. So he did also address Matthew Perry's family. He said, quote, "I failed myself. There is no excuse. I can't undo what's been done. I know that. I should have protected him. As his mother said, I'm just so sorry," end quote. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think? I'll sit on that for a second. So, along with his prison term, the 30 months that he was sentenced, he also, like, all right, he was ordered to pay $5,600 as a fine. Like, for a doctor, that's like nothing, but all right. He was taken immediately into federal custody. So he was right away taken. So when I mentioned earlier that he pled guilty, so it was 4 counts of distributing ketamine. So again, the charges carried a maximum of 40 years in prison. But again, he was sentenced to 30 months. The other 4 people charged in this most of them have pled guilty and are set to be sentenced in the upcoming months. So I will go over that when that happens, and we'll definitely cover that. But for now, one down. So before today, or before this week and before the update. So Dr. Placencia had written the judge a letter last month. And in that letter, he said he takes full responsibility for his actions in the role of Matthew Perry's death. He explained that his medical clinic has been struggling, and despite seeing Matthew Perry's, quote, signs of addiction, end quote, the offer of, quote, large sums of money was appealing, end quote. So as I mentioned earlier, he voluntarily surrendered his medical license once he was arrested. So, all right. I do believe that his practice was going to be suffering, and maybe was suffering leading up to this, and that the money could have been just too much to pass up. However, his text messages to other people, including the ketamine queen, who they were just so beyond disrespectful about Matthew Perry. How much of a moron he is, how much of an idiot he, like, no, it was more than just about the money, right? And this was not one of those cases where you stopped. You kept doing it. You kept giving it to him, and he died. And that's how you got caught. So I have no sympathy. I have no sympathy. I just have more so anger, if anything. So that's my thought on it. But I know I can be very harsh thinking. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Lindsay Van Buren. Hello, welcome. Let's see. I just want to make sure I'm caught up. Matthew Perry did make his own choices. There is that, and I'm not victim blaming by any means, but there's also accountability on a doctor's end, because anybody could go to their doctor and say, I want this, I want this, I want this. It's up to the doctor, the professional, the licensed professional, to say no. And I know he's not unique in this. We saw this with Michael Jackson's trial. There's so many examples that Dr. Placencia is not alone in this. And think about how often this happens in everyday life without celebrities, that it doesn't make the news. It happens so much more. This just happened to be the death of a high-profile actor. And that's why this drew as much attention as it did. And it's like sad on the one hand to think about that, but it's just the facts, you know? So, I 100% feel that way. 100%. Oh, I have plenty of room. As much as I have plenty of room. Doctors are strict here. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on that. But I just felt more anger, if anything, about that. So we'll see. Next. So this was, oh, hey, Matilda. Good to see you. You are fashionably late and perfect. Hope you're doing good. So, oh gosh. When I was at the gym tonight, it was like all over all of the TV screens. So I was just like, okay, well, it looks like we're talking about this tonight. And there's not a ton of information. A ton will come out, and we'll discuss that when it does. And if you guys are like, all right, it's been all over the news, Danny, we know what you're talking about. It is the arrest in the 2021 January 5th case of the planted pipe bombs at the Republican and Democrat National Party headquarters. So again, this happened January 5th, 2021. We are now December 4th, 2025. Yep, Tony Stewart, Brian Cole. So his picture's everywhere right now. So what I would say is, I will say the little bit that we know, a lot is going to come out. Sit on it. Don't get too invested, because when stuff like this happens, so much stuff comes out. And a lot of the times, a good percentage of it is bullshit. So let that trickle away and things will get hopefully fact checked as they should, and then go forward. So in regards to Brian Cole. So Brian Cole Jr., 30 years old. He was arrested and charged with transporting an explosive device and attempted malicious destruction by means of explosive materials. So when I was at the gym, there were, again, a lot of people that were being interviewed for this on the screen. So I couldn't hear them. I was just kind of watching, and there'd be like kind of like a blurb of like what they were discussing. So Attorney General Pam Bondi credited investigators with sifting through the evidence that has been sitting for the last 4 years, almost 5 years since this happened. So there were no new tips that led to the arrest. And I found that interesting. That's what Bondi had told reporters. So again, no new tips that led to the arrest. As we know right now, just because an arrest has been made, that doesn't mean the investigation is over. Long from it. So the investigation will still be ongoing. So for those who maybe either don't recall the details or don't remember, or maybe didn't even hear about what happened in regards to why this arrest happened today. So the pipe bombs that were planted, they were found on the day of the January 6th riot. But again, he planted them the day before. So thank God they were found. So none of those bombs went off. And as of now, officials have not even identified a motive for those bombs being planted. Don't get me wrong, rumors are swirling and they are crazy right now online. Crazy. They are going crazy. I cannot emphasize that enough. Don't get swept up. Let the bullshit just fade away. We will learn more. So federal investigators said that the person who placed the bomb, so Brian Cole, near the Democrat and National Committee headquarters, planted another one near the Republican National Committee headquarters. So the public had been asked by the FBI repeatedly for any information that could lead to an arrest of the person who did this. And the Bureau said that the person was estimated to be 5 feet, 7 inches tall, and was wearing Nike Air Max Speed turf shoes with a gold logo. So that's what we were all looking for, right? So the pipe bombs were discovered about 15 hours after they were planted. So again, luckily, they did not go off, so nobody was injured and nobody died. Thank goodness. So investigators have conducted more than 1,000 interviews and reviewed tens of thousands of video files since this happened in 2021. So how was Brian Cole Jr. identified? So he was identified through the purchases of 6 galvanized pipes, both black and galvanized end caps, 9-volt batteries, Walmart kitchen timers, and electrical wires. That is according to the charging document. The document also says that Brian's cell phone was engaged in 7 data sessions with towers, quote, in the area of the RNC and DNC, end quote, on the evening of January 5th, 2021. So that is kind of as much as we know right now in regards to that. There will be more that comes out, and we will definitely talk about that. But for now, this is, I mean, when I say it was on every single screen at the gym, like every different news station, it was just like, yeah, crazy. But I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. Okay, Camden, I'm just going back to the Matthew Perry one. I agree with you on the Matthew Perry case. He needs to be in prison for a decent length of time. Well said. I agree. So if they could have tied that to Republicans, it would have already been solved. Investigation is over. We've judged him over social media. Guilty. Case closed. Jake Tapper of CNN says the suspect was a white male. I missed that. They said at one point it was a woman. I'm sure CNN's next headline will be that he was a peaceful protester. Dang cell phones. It like, oh, on the one hand, like I don't want people to be educated to like get away with like so many crimes like this. But on the other hand, it's just like, what do people genuinely think? Like, yes, this is how people get caught, but I'm not going to get caught. They won't find my, like, I genuinely don't get it, Tony. I don't understand, but, right. So Brian Cole Jr., we will be up to date on that. And yeah, we'll definitely talk about it more as things unfold. I'll save this gem for a little later. A couple more things for tonight. So you don't want people to get caught. Tony Stewart, stop giving out information on how people, because I don't want this to come back to here. Everybody thinks they're smarter than they are. Are you talking about society or are you talking about Paul? Because yeah, he definitely thinks he's smart and not at all. All right. I just have to take a dig. Anytime I see an opening, like for Paul and Beckham, I'm just like, oh, I can't miss out on the opportunities. I'm so mean to them. I'm so mean. All right. Gary Ridgway. So this is, yeah, in my newsfeed that I was just like, what is going on? So at first there was, we'll see what comes of this. He was in the news the last few days because it was reported that he is receiving end-of-life care in a Washington state prison. So he's 76 years old at this point. Again, if anybody does not know anything about the Green River killings, definitely go back. There's so much to that case. It's like one of those staples in kind of the true crime genre, right? That most people, when you think of like Bundy, Dahmer, Gacy, Ridgway is definitely up there and like one of those types of crime offenders, right? So where he has been supposedly receiving healthcare is at the Washington State Penitentiary in Walla Walla, Washington. His health has been declining for some time. However, then the news broke. Oh, here we got Loki. The Washington Department of Corrections, the DOC, they've been disputing this. But based on kind of what they've said, I'm just like, the statement kind of leaves it open to, could it still be the case? Let me read their statement, and I want to hear what you guys think. Quote, "These are inaccurate rumors. While we are not able to provide much detail about incarcerated individuals' medical information, we are able to confirm that Gary Ridgway has not had any changes to his medical condition." End quote. So that statement doesn't really say a lot. I get that they can't I get that they can't come out and say, this is what's happening to this person. Like, I get that. But I'm like, based on what you said, you didn't really dispute anything, in my opinion. But what do you guys think? Again, he is 76 years old. So I would not be surprised if we do hear something. With that being said, if usually when someone's getting end of life care, it doesn't, kind of common sense, it doesn't go that long. So we'll keep an eye out, because if something were to happen kind of based on that, we'd hear about it soon. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Ain't that the truth? Hi, Steve Harris. How do you not have a wrench, hun? That's not right. Let me give you one right now. All right, done. Poor thing. The Green River case was on an Andy Griffith episode. Was it? I used to watch that as a kid. Because it was like my parents would watch it. So, oh my gosh, that's wild. I'll need to go back and look that up. I didn't know that. Or I was just so young that I didn't register it. I watched a 2-hour live TV special back in the 80s with experts in law enforcement taking tips to try and solve the case. Seemed like it would never be solved. Yeah. Even Ted Bundy offered to help with this case. And before anybody thinks, oh my God, that's so nice of Bundy. No, he had his own motives for it. But yeah, even he offered to help. Poor Gary. Yeah, it was, this was, yeah, if anybody's not familiar with the Green River killer and the Green River case, Gary Ridgway, definitely, yeah, there's a lot to go through, but it's a very interesting case. I'm a busy guy. You are same in regards to busy with life, and then add on the holidays in December. It's so, yeah, but I hear you. But good to see you, hon. End of life care usually doesn't exceed 10 days. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying, right? So we'll hear some. Mark my words. By the end of next week, if we don't hear more by the end of next week, I'm thinking it was just yeah. And I hate to be everybody got swept up in that. Because if y'all remember, when Ted Kaczynski, when he passed away, what was it? Was that this year? Earlier this year? Or was that last year? I can't remember offhand. But that just it felt like it came out of nowhere. But in reality, his health was declining, and just only people on the inside, knew that. But when that news broke, it was wait, what? So we'll see. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Barney Piper took a shot at the Green River killer who was trying to kill Opie. Are you messing with me? Or was there really an episode like that? Oh, absolutely. Oh, and Renee, and everybody else, the interview that Ted Bundy did, what was it, the night before his execution, about how pornography kind of led him down this path. And the interview's on YouTube. You can find it. You can find it anywhere online. And it was just warning society about what pornography and those types of magazines does to young men. And no, dude, no. Oh, interesting. I wouldn't quite word it like that. What me take that and rephrase it. Just for myself. I think that some of them were when profiling started, these were the people that these profilers, like from the FBI, really wanted to gravitate to and learn from, because even though there'd been killings, much longer than the FBI kind of came up with this, kind of set of, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of finding similarities in what was happening and behaviorally being able to identify some things. Again, that had been going on long before the FBI put together a task force for this. But, when you think of someone like, I'll just use the example of Ed Kemper, he was so willing to talk about what he had done and why in his mind he had done it, and was so open with law enforcement and the FBI. And there was a lot to learn at this time that the profilers were. It was just like, I think, good timing all around. So to kind of learn of these offenders now kind of passing away, but it's also the passing of time, right? When we think of, okay, this person did these crimes, say in the 70s, we're in 2025 right now. Like, you think about it and you're like, oh yeah, 70s, that wasn't that long ago. But when you stop and do the math, you're like, oh shit, that was almost like 55 years ago, right? So there's that kind of added element too. And then it's, okay, we know what a lot of these kind of more prolific killers have done. Where are we now in society in regards to how this has continued, and what have we learned as a society? What has the FBI kind of honed in on with their profile? There's so many layers to it, I think. Yeah, I'll just kind of say that. Right, I know, Ted, but like, Ted, you tried. Wasn't gonna work. Oh, gotcha. Okay. All right. So if anything happens with Gary Ridgway, I'll keep y'all posted. So 2 more things for tonight. One is, again, Brian Walsh. That trial started on Monday. I'm looking at my Google Doc. She put in all the notes for me. Like, oh, shout out to the Liz. Thank you. But before we do that, here is a treat for everyone. And when I say that, I definitely mean that sarcastically, because this was a name that, when I teased you guys earlier and I was like, oh, I was at the gym and then I got this notification and this person is back in the news. Let me see. I love all of you. I feel like we connect. We share a lot of things here, our opinions on some cases, whether we agree or disagree. But because I have I feel like Loki's like, oh shit, I know it's coming. I love all you all so much. If I have to suffer, so do all of you. So, you know who we're talking about tonight? Sarah Boone. I messaged Beckham tonight and I was just like, okay, she's on the docket for tonight. You have to skip sports and be on with me. That didn't persuade him enough. But nonetheless, if I have to suffer, so do all of you. Look at you guys in the chat. Matilda, oh no. Sarah. Oh God. It's just, oh. All right, let's get to it. We'll get it over with, and then we'll move on to Brian Walsh. But Sarah Boone, suitcase Sarah Boone. I really thought, I'm going about my life thinking I don't have to think about her. She never goes away. All right, let's get this over with so we can regroup, refocus, and move on with our life. And thank you all for suffering with me. Not that I'm giving you a choice. So, and I did not have time to do like my own kind of notes on this because everything happened so fast. So to give credit where credit is due, the website I'm getting this from is Court TV. So Sarah Boone, we talked about her last week and last month, I believe, because she still has an appeal that legally, it is her right to try to appeal her conviction. But as we know, she has lost maybe one attorney, two attorney, 12 attorneys, 13 attorneys. I can't remember the count, but the article does say it, so we'll get to it. So yes, she was frustrated with the judge, I believe it was last month, because she has a deadline for her appeal and she did not have an attorney because the one that she last had dropped out. So in regards to last month, November 17th, just to be a little bit more specific, Sarah wrote a handwritten motion to the court asking to be, quote, included and added to the certificate of service by all parties to receive important information regarding her appeal, end quote. So Sarah Boone wrote that she does not know who will represent her as an attorney or what was the status of her appeal. So her attorney, as of November 4th, 2025, listed David Maldonado. So he became her 13th attorney. Oh, yes, I had it right. Woo. 13th attorney after her 12th attorney, Rodrigo Caruco, accepted a new job, forcing his withdrawal. Y'all, do we believe that? Do we believe that? I mean, it's possible, but like, think of how many attorneys have left her. Like, I can't imagine one just being like, oh my gosh, I got this new job. I'm sure it's just like something else presented itself. Yeah, I'm out of here. But that's just me. That's just me being cheeky. Okay. So again, 13th attorney, David Maldonado. So in regards to the status of Sarah's appeal, again, time is running out for her new attorney to file an initial brief outlining why her case should be reopened, which is, again, appealing the sentence and conviction of the guilty verdict that she received. So a motion for extension of time was granted in August, so August 2025, but the order notes say, quote, no further extensions will be granted absent extenuating circumstances, end quote. That order required the brief to be served within 60 days of the August 29th order. So with that being said, this is one of those cases where if we go back, which we're not doing that because as much as I'm saying, if I suffer, you guys have to suffer, we're not going to suffer that much. Like, no, I have way much more respect for you and myself than to go through the Sarah Boone history of all of her attorneys. But remember, this trial started way later than it was supposed to because attorney after attorney after attorney after attorney after attorney, add that 10 more times, all wanted to withdraw from representing her because she was so difficult. And then there was that point, remember, when the judge said, fine, you're your own attorney. That didn't work out for her. So it was just crazy, absolutely crazy. So now again, she's on her 13th attorney. Time is running out in regards to trying to get an appeal in to try to get her conviction overturned. So we will see. I will keep you guys posted. It's just like every time I think she's out of my brain. Sarah Boone is out of my brain and I can go on leading a normal life. She just pops right back in it. It's so sad. It's infuriating. She is an infuriating person. And if anybody watched the trial and even all the pre-trial motions, y'all, I'm telling you, all the pre-trial motions and hearings and everything were attorney after attorney after attorney was just like, no, I'm bouncing. I ain't putting up with this. All worth watching. Entertaining, but also like frustrating at the same time, because you could tell how much of a nightmare she was to deal with. Like one of those people that thinks she's the smartest person in the room. But anyway, all right, let's see what you guys have to say about Sarah Boone. Oh my God. K-Dog, I will never get over her request for food. Like the fact that we all had to watch her attorney at the time request all of the, Pop-Tarts, this, for energy. Like, why don't you try eating like fruit or something healthy? It was just junk. It was wild. And I'm like, we're really, like, this is really being televised right now. We're really watching a grown man argue for Pop-Tarts on camera for his client. You know that attorney did not want to do that, but she just did not leave him a choice. Renee, if I had to deal with her, I would climb into a suitcase. Renee. You guys. Oh God, Renee, it's just. Interesting thought. All right. Hey, Auntie Mimi, good to see you. Tony Stewart, go hang out with Beckham if you're going to watch sports right now. Or just go watch sports and watch this later. Let's see. I had a fruit smoothie today. Oh, that sounds amazing. My thing now, K-Dog, Mega Teas. I mean, like the protein drinks and like shakes and all that stuff. Yeah, but Mega Teas. Oh my God, I cannot get enough Mega Teas. So good. So good. And such a better alternative than like my Starbucks addiction. For sure. But that sounds delicious. Amy. Oh my gosh, when that broke. Oh my God. Yeah, me and Beckham talked about that when that happened. It was just, y'all, if you don't know what Amy's referring to, look it up. It is online. It's her handwritten advertisement for a lawyer. It's just like you couldn't make this stuff up, right? Like if this was like someone from a TV show or a movie was pitching this and they're like, here, use this. The director would be like, no, there's no way someone would do that. That's crazy. Like, oh no, but Sarah Boone did it. Polar Ice Mega Tea is the best. Amy, that sounds amazing. So, yeah, we'll suffer together, folks, with the next update, whatever it is, with Sarah Boone and her appeal. Now that we're done with that, let's get to the last thing of tonight, Brian Walsh. So, the Liz, again, put together these notes for me. She is watching this trial like laser focused. Like this is her thing. So, what has been happening this week? So after months of preparation and a mental health hold, the trial of Brian Walsh finally began Monday. As we all know, he's accused of killing his wife, Anna, on January 1st, 2023, and then dismembering and disposing of her body in various dumpsters throughout the North Shore. So just as jury selection began last month, he changed his plea on 2 of the 3 charges. So we recently talked about that. I believe it was a week or 2 ago. So pleading guilty to misleading the police and improper disposal of a body. But he continued to plead not guilty to murder. So just to kind of sum that up a little bit more, like plainly, like, okay, so she's missing. So January 1st, 2023. We are now, again, December 4th, 2025. So we are almost 3 years to the date that she was killed. Killed because he's innocent until proven guilty. So all this time for 3 years, Anna's missing. I don't know where she is. I don't know. Now it is, yes, I lied. She is dead. And I knew that, and I misled police. Yes, she's dead. I dismembered her body and drove all around the state disposing of her and her belongings in dumpsters. But I didn't kill her. I crossed the line there. I didn't kill her. Now that we're all in the same mindset and on board with what Brian Walsh is putting forward, let's jump back to this week on Monday. Opening statements. They were awaited to see what the defense theory would be. And in an opening argument, defense attorney Larry Tipton claimed that Anna Walsh was not the victim of murder, but of, quote, sudden unexplained death, end quote. In short, she and her husband celebrated New Year's Eve with a friend, went to bed, and then Brian later got up to clean the kitchen. When he went back to bed, he found Anna unresponsive. Supposedly, he panicked, worried he'd be blamed and that his kids would be taken away. So, in his mindset, he dismembered and disposed of her instead of calling 911. God, Liz has like a side note here. I'm not going to read that on camera, but that's funny. So again, that's what ran through his head. So the first day of testimony saw recordings that played interviews conducted with Brian Walsh at their home on January 4th when he reported Anna missing. So rewind for those who haven't been following the case. He was not the first one to report his wife missing. Her coworkers called because they were concerned because she did not show for work, and that was unlike her. And keep in mind, they have three young kids, but at the time it was 3 young kids under 6. What mother every night would not call her kids to say goodnight? Night after night after night. And Brian doesn't think anything of that. So again, Brian Walsh, police showed up because the coworkers were concerned. And then it's like, oh yeah, well now that you mention it, let me report her missing. Like, come on. So what Liz's notes were is there were some interviews that were hard to listen to at some points because the children were in the background when he was being interviewed by the police. Which Liz added was so sad in her notes, which it absolutely is. Because again, 3 kids under 6. So in the interviews with the police, Brian sounds bubbly and a little over-eager, acting like he has nothing to hide. And Liz is not sure this Cohasset police officer was cross-examined since he was really just there as the person who recorded the interview. So in regards to Wednesday, so Massachusetts State Police Officer Nicholas Garino was on the stand. And if you recognize that name, he testified in the Karen Reed trial, the first one. So what you guys are going to see during the Brian Walsh trial is a lot of the same Massachusetts State Police officers who worked that also worked the Karen Reed trial in case. And that's why I think this case has a lot of attention anyway, but more so now, I would say, because of how the Mass State Police improperly conducted the Karen Reed investigation. And now they investigated this. And there has been, again, what's the word of tonight? Pre-trial hearings about what evidence should be allowed in on this, because the defense is arguing that even the iPad that those damning searches were on, the proper warrant was not issued for that. And without that, none of those searches should be relevant. So it's a big deal. It's a big, big deal. So anyway, let's go back now. So Mass State Police Officer Nick Garino on the stand, and he read from a massive binder of searches and other data pulled from the devices in the Walsh home. We already knew that a lot of the topics would be those searches that Brian Walsh did. And they went on, and some of the samples that we do have some direct quotes from here. If you want to get the complete list of all of his searches on his 6-year-old son's iPad, do a quick Google. It will come right up. And yeah, the questions, or searches, I should say, just get more and more damning, right? So just some examples. Is it better to throw away crime scene clothes or wash them? How do you use hydrogen peroxide on bloodstains? Can the FBI tell when you access your phone? How long do stores keep security footage? How to saw a body? Can you be charged with murder without a body? Can baking soda make a dead body smell good? Can police get your search history without your computer? Just to name a few searches. At one point, there was a sidebar break in the court. TV folks brought on some experts to talk who said, and one of them quoted, "That is the most withering attack by a prosecutor I've ever seen regarding Google searches. If you're the defense attorney, what do you even do?" End quote. Well said. That is what I have been saying all along and leading up to this. How are those searches going to be argued from the defense perspective? And when Brian Walsh first got his defense attorney made a comment to the press. It was, it was just on the tip of my tongue. They're problematic. The Google searches on the iPad are problematic. I mean, that's one word. That's one way to phrase it. So, quick pause. I want to see where you guys are with this. I want to see where you guys are. And if you guys are watching this trial, let me know. Let me know. I would love to be able to chat with you guys about this. Even during the week as this goes on, if it's just like, Danny, did you see this? Or did you yeah. Garino also missed all the text. Amy, I know. There were thousands that was missed. He is the expert and he missed that. So to me, that discredits everything in his career. If that is your job and how do you miss one? Again, that's your job, but okay, mistakes happen. I get that. There were thousands. And he's like, nope, not a single message. And we trust you to do the cell phone searches on Jen McCabe's phone and all of the McAlbert's phones. Brian Higgins disposed of his. Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Let's see. With all the corruption in the Boston area, how is Danny avoiding the corruption bug? Tony Stewart, it's hard. It's hard. I try to focus on the good. Focus on the good, which is hanging out with y'all and hanging out at the cat shelter doing my volunteer work. So, but other than that, yeah, it's just I always joke with my coworkers, my friends, I'm just I'm in the wrong line of work. One of the supervisors at my work, I made a joke with her and I was just when Mass State, when Michael Proctor got fired, I was like, hey, I was thinking of polishing up my resume. Could you take a look at it? And she was like, what? And I was just yeah, Proctor's gone. I mean, I should be a shoo-in. Question, how would you handle this? Well, I would visit the crime scene for one, and I wouldn't put the evidence in a Stop and Shop bag with a red Solo cup. Ding, ding, ding. I should be hired. So, yeah. I said it better at the time. It was funnier at the time. Now it's months later, but I assure you it was funny at the time. But, yeah, it's just one of those, you hear some of this and it's what the heck? I could have done a better job. As long as Danny is less corrupt, then she'll be fine. we're just going to leave Mayor Wu out of that. Fiddle is saying you're worried that they can track your phone, but you don't think they can check your search history. I know. Like, stay dumb, people. Stay dumb. If you're going to commit a... But it's like in this day and age, you hear about all these trials and stuff on the news, right? So how do you think, they got caught for that, but I'm not going to get caught for my search. I'm like, no, like I don't get it. Like, yes, everybody else failed at this, but not me. I won't get caught. Like, I don't get it. Something a suspect actually said to the investigator in Delphi case. If my spite is... Oh, if my spit is on one of the girls, would I be in trouble? Yeah, people say a lot. Yeah. People say a lot of dumb shit. Like, but again, stay stupid. I don't know. Tipton is a great attorney, but he was appointed. He got a crappy hand dealt him. Oh my gosh, Amy, 100%. And thank you for clarifying that he, he was appointed. Yeah. Yeah, this is yeah. There are a lot of us in Mass who avoid the corruption. I knew what you meant, K-Dog. I knew what you meant. Clean the area with a leaf blower. I know. And the investigation into that, as we recall, said that was innovative. Not even like it was innovative. Okay, if it's so innovative, why don't you make that standard procedure now so that's done in every case? Like, what the hell? To be fair, that was the Canon cops who did the solo cups. I know, but I know. I stand corrected, but... All right, so let's carry on with Nick Carino here. So day 3, he was back on the stand and was being cross-examined. So defense attorney Tipton asked Nick Carino to reread records to establish when some topics were searched, like how the searches didn't include the term murder until 6 hours after the searches began, and that the searches including the word divorce occurred during a period of 21 minutes on December 27th. So again, prior to when Anna would have been killed. So defense attorney Tipton also established that Nick Carino did not find evidence that any of the devices taken from the home had been tampered with in any way. The next few witnesses on Wednesday then testified about Anna's travel history and flight reservations. There were a lot of flights that were booked, canceled, booked, no-show, booked, rescheduled. So there's a lot to go through. So all of that was reviewed during court. Honestly, like on the stand, it'd be so much easier just to... Like one, was it Boston.com I saw that like did like a little picture with a recap of like this date, this flight canceled, this date, this flight rescheduled. And it was just like, all right, simple. That's all I need to know. We got it. We don't need to hear someone on the stand for 45 minutes to an hour going through all of this. But nonetheless, if you want to follow that, it's there. So the JetBlue security manager from Logan, his name, that's funny, is named Tom Menino. So if anybody is from Massachusetts, you would get that connection. But if you aren't, then let's carry on. So yes, JetBlue, there was a representative from JetBlue who did testify and kind of go over those flight logs, whether she was on the plane or not, no-showed or whatnot. So Wednesday was also the Commonwealth showing photos of evidence recovered from a trash facility in Peabody. Those photos are online and you can see those. I personally found these the most interesting when kind of listening to what was going on with the trial. So some of what was found was clothing belonging to Anna, some of her personal belongings like jewelry, COVID card, footwear, boots, whatnot, and pieces of carpet that was stained with what appears to be blood. There was a lot of things that were stained with what appears to be blood. So there was, again, Boston.com had a really good article that was up that broke down every single trash bag and what was in each trash bag. And I want to say there was 10 bags that they recovered, and it goes over what was found and if it had a substance on it with what appeared to be blood. So it's very there, and there was a lot. There was a lot. So that was very interesting. That happened on Wednesday. Today, the Commonwealth had William Fastow on the stand. So he is the man that Anna Walsh was having the affair with. And the little bit that I was able to hear from him testify on the stand when I was at work listening, he sounded just very credible, very sincere, very vulnerable, and just raw. Like you could really, even to this day, I feel, get a sense of how much he genuinely loved Anna. And he made no secret of their affair, by the way. Obviously, she, and what we learned from his conversations with her, which he did testify on the stand, was some of the kind of more intimate conversations that they had in regards to her relationship with Brian Walsh. And again, I know some of the conversation that people are having is like well, she was seeing somebody else, besides her husband, Brian. And I'm not ever condoning that. It is more so at the end of the day, that does not mean that she should have lost her life in this. And Brian Walsh, again, has a very shady history, if that's the way to word it, with the art fraud, his like when his father passed away, he did not put him in the will because he screwed over his dad big time. And then he destroyed the will saying there wasn't one, but a cousin was like, oh no, there was one. And we took a picture. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. But nonetheless, so again, William Fastow was on the stand, and what Liz's takeaway from this, and I agree with that, is what is going to be happening with him when there's cross-exam. I mean, I'm fully expecting him to be ripped to shreds. In regards to Liz is wondering, will they call Brian as a witness, so Brian Walsh, the defendant, because he's the only person who can give information about this narrative that the defense is saying in regards to what happened that night. But if the defense wants to put him on to go over that makes him open for cross-exam, which would be very dangerous. And again, if somebody is put on the stand in their own defense, it is not required. They do not have to. Technically, the defense does not need to prove a thing. It is the state's burden, the prosecution, to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Brian Walsh did murder his wife, Anna Walsh. It is the state's job to prove that, not the defense's job to disprove it. Of course, that's in a perfect world, and we all know how the court system works. So, but we will see. Will he take the stand? I have mixed feelings on, like, sometimes I'm like, no, he won't because of this. But then other times I'm like, but he is cocky as hell. And may have I think I'm smarter than everybody in the room type of attitude. He's been pretty quiet, but I would not be surprised. So like I could really see it going either way. But I want to know what you guys think about that. I really do. Paulcast, I saw you sneak in here. Hey. Yeah, Beckham is watching sports right now, so he couldn't join tonight. All right, let me get back. Let's see where you guys are. Oh, it is. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, it looks like Leia was at it. You know, when you got 6 cats, they're gonna knock things. And Leia's actually right there. Like, yeah, I'm sure she's very pleased. It's slightly askew. It's off center. Okay, okay. The thing is, it's like I could literally just walk. Oh, like the second I close down this laptop and all my equipment and stuff, fix it. Within 10 seconds, she'd probably go. Like, I just have to remember to look at it before the show, but it makes you guys so wild when it's crooked. So that's funny. Amy is saying, I did not like Anna's side piece, though I am sure he is credible. Okay, that's interesting. Can I ask what for you made you kind of have that strong feeling towards him, that you did not like him? I guess I just had a different view of him on the stand, but I really want to hear what you have to say, because what the jury's going to take away from him, I think it's going to be really, really important, because what we kind of learned a little bit, what we did about what she kind of confided in him with about Brian Walsh, that's going to be super important for the jury to hear that. So if there are people on the jury who do not like him or do not find him credible, yeah, that could come back in not a great way. He will. It was in defense opening statement that he will tell them. I must have missed that, and Liz must have missed that. Oh, she's fired. The Liz is fired. Fired. I hear what you're saying and what the defense is saying. I think depending on how the trial goes, that might not be a good idea to put him on. I would not be surprised if the trial is not going in a great way. If it's one of those, at the end of the day, putting him on the stand will do way more harm than good. I wouldn't be surprised if it's just like, we just can't risk that. I don't know, though. I don't know. Does that mean we're doing Manson Saga shows every week, Paul, over on the Paulcast? And the jury does not know the 2 charges he pled to. I know. Ugh, I know. I wondered going into this, like, how the hell are they going to explain those iPad searches? But I mean, on the one hand, him taking the plea, I don't know. Oh, I have so many questions. I'm not wearing the purple earrings tonight. I'm wearing the gold hoops. But yeah, next show I'll wear those earrings just to spite you all. You think he will take the stand? See, like, he's narcissistic. Like, and just, I would not be surprised if he thinks he can talk his way out of it. So I 100% think that. There's just a little part of me that thinks he will do more, let me be positive. He could do more harm than good, because yes, the defense is going to phrase their questioning to get the best out of him. They have no control over cross-exam. And there's just a little part of me that thinks this could go so badly if he goes on the stand. Could the defense attorneys at the last minute be like, no, this is going to harm your case. You cannot go up there. I don't know. I feel like the last few years with trials, like I've just come to not expect what I think should happen, if that makes sense. It's one of those, like, get my preconceived notions just out the window, because I can't make sense out of anything else anymore. My cat's about to jump. Yeah, there's the thud right there. Paul, stop it. So yeah, don't get me wrong. It would make for great TV for him to be on that stand. Okay, Leia's going to try to get that door open. So, yeah, I would love to see him on Cross. I would love to see Brian Walsh on Cross. I really, really would. We'll see. We'll see. I think it's just my personal read my intuition. Okay, no, that's in regards to Anna's boyfriend. Okay, nope, that's makes sense. Makes sense. The whole story was ridiculous. Oh my gosh, like 1,000%. He can choose not to at the end of the day. He's going to jail. It's just how long. That's it. That's it. Yeah, absolutely. So fun fact, in high school and college, I was obsessed with big hoop earrings. Like the bigger, the better. And the largest hoop earrings I ever found and wore, I still remember the last time I wore them. It was like a day just walking around Boston with friends, and they were so big. It was just like, it was obnoxious. I took them out. I'm like, I can't do this. I just can't. They were probably like, they were huge hoop earrings, like each pair. I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? I have a picture of me somewhere at a park in Boston with friends wearing those obnoxiously big hoops. And I had my hair up in a ponytail, so you could just see how gigantic those hoops were. And I'm just like, I look back, I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? But no, I never thought that though. I never thought that. As a mental health professional, yes. I feel he has narcissistic personality disorder and sociopath. Amy, your word is Bible to me. It is gospel. It is all of the things, all of the facts. So I 100% value and trust your thoughts on that. And completely agree. He sure does. And Amy, James Watson, he's special. He is special. And I'll just leave it at that. Whether you take special as a positive or a negative, I don't know. He adds a lot of character to the chat. I'll leave it at that. So just to wind this down, a few more notes from Liz for the Brian Walsh case. So she also said during opening arguments, a lot of commentators noticed Brian had what appeared to be rosary beads in his hand. There are so many photos going around and so many different angles that I'm like, my thought at the end of the day is, I don't know if those are rosary beads. What do you guys think if you've seen those pictures? So his mom's Iranian and has been in court every day. That is also kind of a side thing. There's one, what was it, on Monday or was it last week? She walked, like when she was in court and he was in there, it was like blowing kisses at each other. And I was just like, oh my God, your son's on trial for murder. But like at the end of the day, that's a mom having her son's back. But it's very weird. She's been in court every day. She also financed a lot of his things. And one of the questions that Liz has and I have as well, and we've talked about this before kind of off camera when we're just like texting about this case every single day, is like, did she have any role about what happened the night Anna was murdered? Or did she have knowledge? So again, those are two very different things. A role is more active part in it. Knowledge is just knowing what he was planning. The way him and his mom are so close, I deep down think she knew what was going to come. But I have no way to prove that. I could very well be wrong too. So I don't know. And then Liz was also, her last few notes are, she's been listening to some podcasts with some legal experts expressing a little bit of disappointment that there hasn't been much of a character sketch presented of Anna. She had a beautiful life, beautiful children. There's lots of great photos of her. So would be nice for the jury to see an overview of who she was. Liz also, in her final notes, I will remind everyone that pre-trial, the defense argued that they did not want the jury to be told what a good mother Anna was because it might be, quote, inflammatory, end quote. The defense would definitely prefer a nice character sketch of her that the jury would not be able to see. But Anna deserves better than that. So, yeah, that is that. Thank you again to the Liz, my official Brian Walsh correspondent, for his trial. Follow her again over on Instagram at the Liz Files because she recaps this stuff all the time. Way more in depth than I do. I'll tell you that. So yeah, let's see the last couple of comments from you guys and we will wind this down. And Leia's at the door and wants to get the hell out of this room. So yeah, I gotta let her out too before she starts crying. Let's see. All right. Danny, I bet you were a lot of fun back in your high school days. I think so. I mean, that would be another conversation for another day. I was so into wrestling, like WWE. Well, it was WWF when I started watching it, but WWE, oh my gosh, me and my friends would go to, it was, all right, Amy, please correct me if I'm wrong. It used to be, it was the Fleet Center. And then it was something else. And then it's the Garden now, but it's had so many name changes and like, oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't know. I was me. Special is my type of people. Oh, Amy, then you and James Watson are going to be very good friends. Very good friends. You know, like, I don't know. It's funny because to me, I'm just like, I feel like I'm the same, but then like also like, you know, you grow and you evolve and, oh, here we got Loki. It's funny because people I meet now, some of the things where I'm just like, oh, I did this in high school. I did this. People are like, you? Didn't have tattoos back then. Obsessed with piercings. I had like a million piercings. You name it, I had it. And I was like, I'm never going to get a tattoo. And then the piercings kind of went and tattoos are like the thing. But it's just like talking to people. I'm like, oh yeah, I had like double tongue piercing and like all this. And people are like, you? Of all people? And I'm like, am I a prude now? Like what? I don't know. Or I used to dye my hair like, and not just like the like manic panic stuff, like where it washes out in like a week. Like, no. I would dye it bright red, purple, blue. Like I tried to do blue once and it turned green. Like I had a million different hair colors. It just was like, I was just constantly like, I want to do that. And I would just do it. Yeah, which I would never do that now. But yeah, the good old days, you know? All right, back to that. But yeah, that was me in high school. Amy's saying, if my kid committed murder, I may still love them as a mom, but would turn them in. Yeah. Yep. Very fair. Matilda's saying, oh, I thought the same thing, like Adelson. Oh, 100%. Like so many similarities, but we know good and damn well Brian Walsh's mom will never be charged with anything. Like it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. No, I'm not censoring. She just added like funny commentary. I'll have to ask her and be like, do you want me to read your funny commentary or not? Or was that just like for my eyes? But no, I'm not censoring. No, I need to be censored. Liz does not need to be censored because she doesn't swear as much as I do and stuff. What was that thing you told me to find? True crime story coming to Boston. Okay, Amy. Yep. It is Crime Story Fest. So the Instagram handle is Crime, so CRIMESTERY_fest. So Crime Mystery Fest. So, yes, definitely follow that on Instagram. I'll tell you that. It was the Boston Garden too. Okay. There was so many names. I really remember being the Fleet Center and then something else, but I can't remember. I would try to get you hooked on something. Well, that would be a waste of time. No, you would be like, no, Danny, you're too much. You'd be like, nope, can't deal with you. Danny, was it your senior class that put the rites of passage, graduation 22 for paper mache penis on the front of the flagpole? I can't remember what the senior class prank was. I wasn't involved in it. I remember what the class did the year before. So when I was a junior, I remember what the senior class, because I had a lot of friends that were seniors that graduated. And from what I remember, there was like a whole side of the building at the high school that the seniors like went out and bought a ton of porn magazines and just covered the building, the outside of the building in those pictures. That was funny. That was really funny. I remember my senior class. Again, I wasn't involved in it. There was a lot of seniors, like a lot of the guys had trucks and like pickup trucks, and they transported a lot of the sand from the beach to the parking lot where the students parked and dumped it in the middle of the parking lot and set up like beach chairs and stuff. And it's like, that's the senior prank you're doing? And I remember the principal went out and like was like, oh yeah, this is cool, and like hung out at it. And I'm just like, dude, you failed at a senior prank if the principal actually goes out to enjoy what you did and thinks it's cool. Like, fail. Yeah. Oh my gosh, you have me going back in the memory vault, Auntie Mimi. My goodness, that kitty looks like one of mine. Where is he? Oh no, he's over there. Yep, that's my Loki. Only 3? You need more. Or nope, dang it, Danny, calm down. To each their own. To each their own. Ugh, that principal. Ugh. How about grandma paying rent as grandmas do? I need a grandma to pay my rent. Ugh. I know. Like, I have so many questions about this case. So many questions. I actually typed out I need a sugar daddy or sugar granny and erased it. James Watson, you could probably start an OnlyFans, like trying to make it happen, hon. Hi, Tony. Good to see you. You are definitely coming in at the very, very end of the show, but I hope you're doing well. 3 classes after me walked a cow to the 3rd floor. They can't walk downstairs, so they had to use. Oh, that's insane. That is insane. So it's at the same place where, yes, same place. Yep. So Danvers, yeah. I know. Like even the True Crime Podcast Festival where it's like Boston, Massachusetts. I'm like, no, that's Danvers. But to be fair, like a lot of conventions do that. I've come to learn where it's just like, oh, it's in this, but it's like, it's here, but it's like really like a city just outside. But yes, same exact place. Yep. All the cool people in school never made it to senior. Well, that's sad, Tony Stewart. That's sad. All right, folks. So we are almost at 2 hours. So thank you everybody for joining me for this week's True Crime and Chill. We had a good time, minus Beckham. Look at that. And feel free to say that in the comments if you're just like, oh my God, Danny, that was such a great show without Beckham. I mean, I'll show him, but no, I'm just joking. Thank you everybody for joining tonight, and have a great rest of your weekend. Reminder, next week will be the part 2 for the Anthony DiMaria and Marshall Terrell JC Bring Cutting to the Truth interview. And oh my gosh, before I forget, I will be live tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern on James's channel, not this James Watson, different James. I did put a link. I did a post on the YouTube community post. So go over to that. We're doing our annual holiday collaboration top 10 countdown. Again, that's tomorrow, and that's live on James's channel at 3 p.m. Eastern. So tune into that. Yeah, other than that, what else before we go? Book club. Get in your vote for December book club. There's already one book that looks to be in the lead, but again, get those votes in, and then I'll post which one was the winner for this month voted on, and then we'll do that review at the end of the month. So again, that is open to anybody who would like to be part of that month's book read selection and either be on camera with me talking about the book or be in the chat talking about it, or if you just want to hang back and just kind of listen and say, gee, do I want to purchase this book now or not? Totally cool too. All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of your night. It was great hanging out with all of you tonight. And remember, until next time, we don't live in darkness. Darkness lives in us. Bye, everyone.